Folks do come out for the first event. We've had word that there's a Western Australian car gets underway. And the riders coming out now for Heat 1 of the North Arm Solo Championship. We'll see Scott Norman, the rider that finished second last year. Scott Norman starting red from 1, Bill Frame in blue from 2, Lee Schooling in white from 3, Steve Gratz yellow from 4, and Sean Sampson green from barrier 5. No pressure at all to Scott Norman, was too strong for the field in the first heat 5. So for those people that are still trying to keep track of last week's records, times, I believe that was the right one. On to heat 2 now, and the first of our elimination riders coming through with Ivan Clothier starting red from 1, Bill Lillman in blue from 2, Sean Moran, our resident US rider, and incidentally those leathers that Sean Moran is wearing tonight are for sale. So if there's anybody out there looking for a pair of pretty classy leathers, those ones of Sean Moran's are for sale. Sean Moran starting in white from 3, Shane Bowes in yellow from 4, and David Walsh. Now we'll get this right, it's not Sean Moran's leathers for sale, it's David Walsh was the outside. Good start, so too to Shane Bowes. Round the outside of Longman goes David Walsh. Walsh now up into third place, but it's Sean Moran after his big victory in Mildura, leading the field. Shane Bowes followed by Paul Longman and Ivan Clothier. Well, at this stage of the race, it looks like it's all going to happen between the front 3 bikes. Longman's being left behind a little bit back in 4th place. Looking over his shoulder, and left. Walsh up on the inside of Bowes. Bowes powers it on coming out of turn 2. Goes back into 2nd place. It's Moran, followed by Bowes. Back then to Walsh. Walsh cornering tight. On the inside of Shane Bowes. Bowes trying to hold him off. They come out of turn 2, virtually locked together. It's Moran in front with quarter of a lap to go, followed by Bowes, then Walsh. It's going to be a run to the line for 2nd and 3rd. Moran's got first. Walsh on for 2nd in front of Walsh 3rd. In 4th place is Lillman, and finishing off the event in 5th will be Ivan Clothier. Top ride from Sean Moran, outclassed the field once again. Ross Noble, blue from 2. Paul Cooper in white from 3, Phil Metzen yellow from 4, and the second of our qualifiers, Adam Norville starting green from barrier 5. Robertson took out the Kevin O'Connell for the very first time back in '85. It's great to see him still racing so strongly. Benson right behind him. They're having quite a battle out in front as they start to open up a gap between themselves and the rest of the field. Paul Cooper in third place. Benson right behind him, followed by Noble and then Norval. Benson, as I mentioned, has been around for a while, could be just waiting for an opportunity. Damon Richardson keeps it right on the line. Keeps it 21 laps to go. Gaining Richardson. Find a way through. He needs a bit more speed. Swings right out wide. Tucks it down low. He's going to try for a final inside run, I think, on Richard. Damon Richardson, but Richardson holding it up. On the inside, but not enough. And Damon Richardson takes it on the outside from a very fast finishing Phil Medson. Damon Richardson first, Phil Medson second, acknowledging each other's efforts out there. Third place going to Paul Cooper. Champion, white from 3, Ray Robertson in yellow from 4, and Paul Chevy, green from barrier 5. Champion on 3, Robertson 4, Chevy 5. That's Parker, followed by Robertson. Chevy from barrier 5 has moved into third place. Chevy really going quickly, swings it out wide. Robertson manages to keep the line. That's Parker, Robertson, back into Chevy, followed by Golding and then Miller. Single file as they go down the back straight. Parker with a big lead early in the race. Here's Chevy, puts the pressure on Robertson once again. Robertson holding it. Chevy taking outside run if he wants to get past him. Parker increasing the lead with each lap. Chevy going a little bit deeper into the corner than Robertson. Goes out wide this time. Really kept the pressure on Robertson, then forced him out wide, and Chevy now moves up into second place. Robertson into third. Golding back and forth, and Golding up on the inside of Robertson. Second flag to Parker. Second place is going. Oh, what's going to go with a bike? 3, Rhodey 4. Second Banks got away to a good start. Rhodey gets into all sorts of trouble. I think he's trying to find a way to get back on the inside of the other bikes back there. Was getting pushed around all over the track. And Lee Banks and Tony Pachuris have made a big charge around the outside. Tons of power in that machine as they go. Wiles now back in second place. Rhodey on the inside in third. And the bike drifts completely sideways. Hockley goes through, moves back into third place, and Rhodey pulling to the infield. I think he realised that he's got all sorts of handling problems out there at the moment. It's Lee Banks. Tony Pachuris out in front. Wally Wiles in second place. Errol Hockley in third. Banks doing it well out in front. Wiles and Tucker got away to a good start, holding on to second place. Hockley and Kessler taking third. Still no change of positions. I guess the only real change out there is Lee Banks opening up more of a lead. Hockley trying to come through, or move up on the inside. track that gets away the best of the bunch and opens up a very big lead early in the race. Coming out of turn 2, he had about 10 or 12 bike lengths over the rest of the riders. He's schooling one of the bikes that have gone down. Not too sure who the other rider was there, but into that first turn, opens up a gap going down the back straight. Adam Norval, who also got away to a good start, not quite as strong. Decides to make his run now, up on the inside, they battle it out. Gratz on the inside, Norval on the outside, locked together as they go. Oh! Gratz picks the bike up. And a couple of nasty ones out there. One nasty one. Well, Steve Gratz is up to his feet very quickly, which is really surprising. That was a really nasty high-speed spill there when he went off the back of that, and the bike absolutely flying through the air. Was very fortunate that it didn't too far. And Barry Golding going into the centre. Swings to the back of the bike out wide, but Golding was fairly well clear of him as they went into that first turn. It's Richardson, followed by Norval, back into Golding. Damon Richardson doing it quite comfortably out in front. Back then to Norval. Golding tending to crouch over the handlebars on the straights. Trying to get yourself. Richardson increasing his lead with each lap, coming around to the yellow flag. 1 lap to go now for the leader. Golding not really losing much ground to Norval, but he's not gaining much either. And only half a lap to go. Looks as though they'll finish in that order. Checkered flag coming out. Damon Richardson first. Golding really making a run of it. And Norval has held on. Adam Norval finishing second, but Barry Golding really giving it a shake as he come out of turn 4 and headed for the line. Got Phil Medson starting red from 1, Shane Bowes in blue from 2, Adrian Champion white from 3, Sean Sampson yellow from 4, and Roy Miller green from 5. Who's on 2, Sampson is in the 4, Adrian Champion. Stronger as they come into turn 1, out of turn 2, heading down the back straight. Medson picks the wheel up under power, but it's Shane Bowes out in front. Bowes from Medson, 1 and 2 as they come down the main straight. Sampson up on the inside of Miller. Miller goes with him all the way and goes back on the outside of Sampson. Together down the back straight, running out of track room out there with Sampson down low, Miller up high. Breaks clear from that pressure being put on him by Miller. Yellow flag will come out on this lap for 1 lap to go. Shane Bowes doing it pretty well out in front. And then Adrian Champion. Almost a half track length between first and last place out there. As Shane Bowes takes the flag. Second place goes to Medson. Third across the line is Steve, followed by Miller, and then Champion. Shane Bowes first, second place going to Phil Medson, and third across the line, Sean Sampson. Pachuris around the outside, or trying to get around the outside of Rhodey. Rhodey goes with him down the back straight. Rhodey in the lead. Pachuris out wide on the track. Wiles almost came through on that same line, but it's Rhodey now. Drifts out a little bit wide. Holding on to that lead. Had to pull out of the earlier heat because the bike drifted out a little bit too wide. He seems to have that problem sorted out now. He's in the lead going down the back straight, but Lee Banks on the inside now takes over the lead. It's Banks from Rhodey in second place. He's followed by Lee Banks has had a little bit of trouble getting North Arm track sorted out, but he's certainly making up for it tonight. Stretches out his lead. It's Banks from Rhodey back into Wiles, then Hockley. 1 lap to go as they come down the main straight. Followed by Rhodey and Marker back into Wiles. His passenger Mike Tucker, then Errol Hockley and Tony Kester. The battle for the minor placings is about all we're going to see, I think, because Lee Banks has got this one shot to pieces. Rhodey holding on to second place. Wiles down last. They come to the line and Hockley. It's Rhodey, Wiles and Hockley across the line. First place to Lee Banks. He's certainly got the feel of the track tonight. Lee Banks and Tony Pachuris first. Second place going to Ron Rhodey and Paul Marker. So it'll be Springett on the inside, Wilson on the outside from the gate, back into Chris Pake. Behind them, Mal Greg. 4 starters. Red light goes on. Well, Chris Pake has made up a lot of ground very quickly. He's challenging for the lead already as they come out of Old Pit Corner. 2 back markers in Chris Pake and also Mal Greg round up Bill Wilson. And it's Pake out in front now, followed by Greg, backed into Wilson, then John Springett. Chris Pake out in front. Mal Greg looking for a way to get past him. He's going to try and do it on the outside as they come through turn 4. It's Chris Pake in the lead. Mal Greg with the speed, just can't seem to find a line to get past him. Chris Pake holding on to that lead. Greg tried the outside, now comes down low. Now's it down as they go into the corner, and he's got the inside run this time. He was looking for a gap, but looks as though he's found it, and Mal Greg goes into the lead. Chris Pake tries to fight back. The tuck in behind Mal Greg. He's keeping it down low. This time he's back on the inside, and Chris Pake goes back into the lead. Mal Greg back into second place. A real battle out there. Into the final couple of turns they go now. This time Chris Pake keeps it right down low. Mal Greg looking for the run to the line, but it's Pake. Pake just takes it in front of Greg. In third place is Bill Wilson, followed over the line by John Springett. Gee, top racing from Pake and Mal Greg then. I thought after the work that Mal Greg did that there was no way that Chris Pake would be able to come back at him. 1929 dirt track Douglas 500 out there. It's raced at the Wayville Showgrounds. There it's a 1936 Speedway Jet. Now, this bike was raced way back in the days of Camden and Kilburn Speedway or Madden. It also raced back in the 50s by Bobby Dawes during years. And this engine was raced for years at Rowley Park Speedway in Bert Miller's TQ back in the 50s. All the frame parts were used in Speedway bikes at Rowley Park, and some belonging to Rowley Park rider of the mid-50s and 60s, Colin Drop. The Jawas that are out there, they're the 2 best riders are Ron Taylor, an ex-Rowley Park rider of the 50s, and Trevor Sweetman, an ex-Rowley Park rider. And I guess Sweetman would really like to open that machinery out there. And these are, of course, from the classic Speedway Association put together this way. And I believe they will be out on the track a little bit later on. But failing that, if they don't shoot through too quick after the race meeting, it would certainly be worth a quick hike through the pits to have a look at those bikes. Really incredible machines. At 1929 Douglas. Back to the racing once again down here at North Arm for this, the North Arm Solo Championship for the 1990 season. And the final run through of heats before the riders find out just who will take part in the semi-finals. Just waiting on Phil Frame. Has a problem at the back of the field. Gets it going. Cooper on 1, Miller 2, Noble 3, Norman 4. Frame goes into 5. Full Bill down the back straight. He's in front of Paul Cooper. Spread out very quickly in the race. Back into Cooper. He's followed by Frame, and at the rear of the field is Roy Miller. Should be a fairly interesting time here. We've had some high 103s. Second place, trying to close the gap there. He's moved up just a little bit on Ross Noble. Lap and a half to go for most of the riders. Down the main straight comes the lead. That's Scott Norman. Back into Paul Cooper. Followed by Bill Frame and Roy Miller. No changes at all. Noble holding on to second place. Cooper trying hard to close the gap. Checking back to Scott Norman. Ross Noble second, followed by Paul Cooper. Roy Miller does it on the last lap, moves up on the inside to take fourth place by about a quarter of a wheel length in front of Bill Frame. So you have to do enough to get into the semis, and that's what Scott Norman certainly did. Heat 10, we've got David Walsh, red from 1, Ray Robertson, blue from 2, Phil Medson, in white from 3, yellow from 4 is Adam Norville, Shane Parker, green from barrier 5. This one, Walsh, Manson's got the centre run, Parker on the other side. Parker still in, Walsh up to the track. Okay, the blue exclusion light is on, and Ray Robertson going forward has just touched the tapes, and once the wheel touches the tapes you are excluded. Robertson Parker back, but not strong enough as they go down the back straight for the first time. It's Walsh out in front, followed by Parker, backed into Medson. Parker, Medson, backed into Norval. Rear of field is Alex Pickle. Walsh going very quickly up. Dropping back a little bit, Walsh. Phil Medson back in third. 1 lap to go as they go down the main straight. Medson well clear from Norman, fourth place, and he's got a big gap then over Rickle. Checkered flag. Couple of points in front of Parker, then Medson. Across the line is Norval, and the reserve coming through, finishing off the race, Alex Pickle. David Walsh, quite an easy victory there. Parker never really put any pressure on him. He may know a lot more about the points at the moment than what I do though. So it's Walsh first, Parker second, and Medson third. I would say Sean Moran was the offender there once again. Gets away well from the outside. outside. Damon Richardson moves into second place. Oh, down the back straight. Moran picks the front wheel up and almost picked the whole bike up, in fact. A lot of skill there to bring that one back up. Into the fence. In fact, he has gone into the track very heavily. They're riding pretty well on the edge at any time. And Sean Sampson, unfortunately, taking a very nasty spill. He's more concerned with the condition of the bike. So we'll try it for 3 times lucky on heat number 11. Well, things just aren't working right at all for this heat. So we'll try again. Back into Champion, schooling on the outside of Champion as they come out of turn 2. Moran out in front, Richardson sticking with him all the way. Champion puts the bike sideways, keeps out of harm's way. They're now back into 4th place as Moran starts to break clear from Damon Richardson. In fact, opened up a big gap just on that half a lap. Sean Moran making it look all so easy. Second place, Damon Richardson. He's schooling back into Adrian Champion. Lap and a half to go as the leader goes through Old Pit Corner. Down the main straight, the yellow flag, 1 to go. Back into schooling. He's followed by. Really spread out around the track. And Sean Moran will take this one with ease. The line first, second place to Richardson, in third place is Schooling, and 4th is Adrian Champion. Sean Moran first, Damon Richardson second, and third place to Lee Schooling. Gratz out, he'll be replaced by our reserve, getting fired up at the centre there, Barry Golding. So Paul Chevy red from 1, Barry Golding will be blue from 2, Shane Bowes in white from 3, Ivan Clothier, yellow from 4, and Bill Lellman, green from 5. From the outside, Lellman got away to a good start, but Paul Chevy from 1, looks as though may have touched wheels there with Chevy and Lellman. It's Bowes now from Lellman. Lellman out very wide. Chevy back into second place, Lellman in third, followed then by Golding and then Clothier. Shane Bowes doing it well out in front, Paul Chevy holding on to second place in front of Bill Lellman. Back into Golding, Lellman starts to make a run, tries to move up on the inside of Chevy. Chevy holds him off though. Maintains that second position on the track. Yellow flag, 1 to go for Shane Bowes. Followed almost the same line and in fact lost a bit more ground there. And without any mishaps, 1, 2 and 3 are pretty well determined. Shane Bowes. Second place going to Paul Chevy. Third across the line, Bill Lellman, and followed by Golding and Clothier. So, still plenty of action to come. Bikes out on the track now. Rhodey, Hockley, Wiles and Banks. Lee Banks up on the outside. Wally Wiles goes in. Errol Hockley. Rhodey going into 1. Now Greg and Steve Brown now we'll go into barrier 4. So now we have Rhodey 1, Hockley 2, Wiles 3, Greg on 4. Rhodey from the pole. Wiles trying to go around the outside of Hockley. Hockley comes almost to a stop. In fact, he does come to a stop, and that allowed both Greg and Wiles to find a way past him. Rhodey out in front. Now Greg through on the inside. Moves up into second place. It's Rhodey, Greg, Wiles right behind Mal Greg as they go through the turns. Greg powers it on as he comes out of turn 2, moves up a bit closer behind Rhodey. Rhodey out in front, Greg in second place, Wiles in third, and Greg really puts the pressure on, comes out of that. This machine handling beautifully, taking the corners very tightly, comes through that one quite clear, powers it down the back straight. Rhodey trying to stay with him, moves back a bit closer to Greg's back wheel. Wiles back in third place. One to go for Mal Greg. Wiles still right behind him, back into Wiles. But Greg has done the work in the first couple of laps, and I don't think they're going to catch him now. He moves away a little bit from Rhodey now, who's back in second, Wiles in third. I think they'll finish in that order. Greg coming to the line. Mal Greg, Steve Brown first. Ron Rhodey and Paul Marcus second. Wally Wiles and Mike Tucker finishing third. Good ride there from Mal Greg, come in as the reserve. Springer, a bit slow coming off the line, and that's allowed the two back markers both to round him up on the outside. Out in front is still Wilson. Pake was looking for a run on the inside of Wilson. Oh, runs into the bike. You could hear the bikes come together. It's Wilson out wide. Pake on the inside. Now Greg's up on the inside as well. Tucks in behind Pake. He'll follow him through the turns and down the back straight, with Wilson now back in third place and Springer watching from the infield. Pake out in front. Once again, Greg right behind him. We saw the battle with these two bikes earlier, and Mal Greg corners on the inside, cornering a little bit tighter than Chris Pake. Pake with the speed to hold him off at this stage of the race. Pake down the back straight, followed by Greg. Greg goes out wide. He'll probably try and swing it down low this time. It's Pake. Greg right behind him. Pake keeps it right down on the line, though. Doesn't leave room for Greg to come through it all. And Pake riding a good race. He's keeping those corners shut completely. Down the back straight they go. Pake, Greg, there's only half a lap to go. Pake doing all the right things. Greg cannot find a way to get past him. They run to the line with Pake. Pake out in front, comes out wide that time. Really kept the gate shut on Mal Greg all the way. Third across the line goes to Bill Wilson. A well thought out race there by Chris Pake. Mal Greg seemed to have a little bit more speed, and Pake realised the only thing he could do was keep it right down low, even if it cost him a bit of speed. Norval, Noble or Chevy. Chevy's put in a couple of pretty good rides tonight, so possibly a slight favourite in this, although Norval and Noble are quite capable of getting away to a great start. It's Noble out in front, followed by Chevy, back then to Norval. Noble racing for a place in the semi-final. Chevy trying hard. Will only just stick with him to get past. Only that one spot available. Norval back in third place. Ross Noble very quick off of the line. And he's making good use of that good start. Ross Noble. Norval. Chevy right up behind Noble now. Lap and a half to go. Noble a little bit stronger down the straight. Chevy goes deeper into the corner to maintain that chance he has. Chevy down low. Noble going with him on the outside. They come out of turn 2. Noble back into the lead down the straights. Chevy doing the work on the corner. Deep in he goes again on the inside. It's going to be a run to the line. It's Noble on the outside. Chevy down low. Noble is hurt on him. Paul Chevy. And Paul Chevy very disappointed. He did everything that he possibly could. I guess he's got a right to feel disappointed, but he did everything that... It's Parker, then Shane Bowes, Moran down the outside of Bowes, up into second place, but Shane Parker has held Sean Moran off into that first turn, needs to keep it down tight now. Parker, Moran, Benson trying to really tailgate Shane Bowes as they go through the turns, but it's Shane Parker out in front, Sean Moran in second place. Now will he be content to stay there in second? Back in the field to Barry Golding, who's actually come up from the reserves and has made it to the semi. Shane Parker going brilliantly out in front, has got a handy lead. On to go. Into Bowes trying hard to get closer to Moran, throw the challenge out down the back straight. Final time. It's Parker, Moran, Bowes. Bowes needs to make a last minute run. It's Parker to the line. Bowes, Madsen across the line, and then Goldie. Shane Parker first, Sean Moran second, both go into the final. Ross Noble, blue from 2. Scott Norman, white from 3. Damon Richardson, yellow from 4. David Walsh, green from 5. That leads them down the back straight. Now he's got away to a brilliant start. Got past both Richardson and Norman. David Walsh out in front. David Richardson back in third. David Walsh. A big lead, Scott Norman. To realise he just needs to stay in second place. Norman will make sure he gets a good time. Norman drifts out a little bit wide, loses some ground. David Richardson really putting everything into it, trying to get past Norman. Yellow flag. In second place, Richardson really dominating it. Norman keeping down low. Damon Richardson doing everything. Sits on the back wheel of Norman down the back straight. Checker flag coming out. David Walsh is into the final. Scott Norman place going to David Richardson, followed then by Paul Cooper and Ross Noble. David Walsh first, Scott Norman second, third place going to Damon Richardson. We've got Wally Wiles and Mike Tucker in red starting from 40. Ron Rohde and Paul Marker in blue from 40. Lee Banks, Tony Pachuris in white from 40. Then we're down to Errol Hockley and Tony Kester in yellow, also from 40. Mal Gregg and Steve Brown, I think they've conned the handicapper here, in green from 10. And Chris Pake and Ollie Zaworski in black from the gate. So these two front bikes, I think, are going to make it pretty hard for those other two. Both Pake and Gregg have been going pretty quickly. And starting from the centre of that back line. Rhodey got away the best of the back three bikes. Rhodey backed into Banks. Banks powers it on as he moves right up on the inside, or looking for the inside run on Rhodey. Moves there. Rhodey goes out wide, tries to come back down. Now Greg has found a way through. They lock it up. They're both touched out there. Mal Greg has gone over. I shouldn't think there'd be a lot of damage done there. They had to slow down, although the bike rolling over on, looks like Mal Greg himself, I think, that may have been caught under that bike then. And this time Lee Banks gets away for better than Rhodey. Rhodey was the best out in the last one. This time it's Banks. Banks powering it on down that back straight. Wiles and Rhodey doing battle. Rhodey a little bit deeper into the corner, but caught out Wild. Wiles down low in the meantime. Chris Pake, Ollie Zaworski out in front. Lee Banks, Tony Pachuris in second place. Back into Wiles and Tucker, followed by Rhodey and Marker. Lee Banks slowly closing the gap. Chris Pake doing it well. Banks, a little bit more speed. So we saw Chris Pake before keep a really tight line through the turns. Drifts out wide that time though, and Lee Banks is going to capitalise. Chris Pake went miles wide out there, tries to come back at Lee Banks. Banks holds on and breaks away down the back straight. Pake really trying to come back at Lee Banks on that one. He did drift out to the fence. That's what cost him the ground. Banks, Pake, back into Wally Wiles, then Rhodey. Rhodey trying to come through on the inside of Wiles. Wiles comes out of the corner better. Rhodey went deep in. Oh, they get into a... they both go to the infield there. Look like Wiles come down. Rhodey was left nowhere to go. So we're down to two bikes on the track now. And a lot of dust, a lot of fairly anxious officials out there. The checkered flag coming out is going to be Lee Banks and Tony Pachuris. They come to the line first. Banks and Pachuris across the line in front of Pake and Zaworski. Lee Banks, Tony Pachuris first. Second place going to Chris Pake, Ollie Zaworski, the only... Five riders. The battle is all over apart from this final one. Possibly a war coming up out here with these riders. Parker, Shane Parker, red from one. Damon Richardson going in blue from two. David Walsh, white from three. Sean Moran, yellow from four. Scott Norman, green from barrier 5. Remembering that Scott Norman ran second to Bart Fiora last year. I think we'll really like to take first place tonight. Certainly had a good year. Bike's been called forward. All set. Whoa, he's side of it, he puts his head down again. And absolutely brilliant coming off of the tapes. See how we go this time. Riding on Walsh, wasn't quite happy. Goes forward again. Looking for an inside run, but Shane Parker leads them through the first turns. Shane Parker in front, they're pulling Will Stands down the back straight, trying to get some more drive, but Shane Parker out in front, holding on to the lead. He's completed the first turn. Back into Scott Norman, Damon Richardson, and there goes David Walsh around the outside of Shane Parker. David Walsh breaks away. He's opening up a lead. It's David Walsh out in front, Shane Parker in second place, trying to fight back. On the inside of David Richardson. race. Scott Norman now up into third, followed by Damon Richardson, the yellow flag. One to go. Back into Norman. He's followed by Richardson, and then Sean Moran. Into turn 4, the last time for the leader, David Walsh. The checkered flag comes out. Shane Parker, third across the line, Scott Norman, followed by Damon Richardson and Sean Moran. David Walsh, our UK resident rider, has taken it against some brilliant opposition out there, receiving congratulations from the runner-up in Shane Parker. Gee, a great ride to go around the outside of Shane Parker, who was racing well to keep clear of Scotty Norman and Richardson and also Moran. There's the checkered flag. Put your hands together for this guy. He's raced brilliantly tonight and has taken out the North Arm 89-90 Solo Championship with a great ride. David Walsh, who only has a few more weeks here in Adelaide before returning to the UK, and he'll now go back with the North Arm Solo title under his belt. Really great stuff there from David Walsh. Okay, just while the bikes are back in there, because the same 5 bikes. Very interesting, the history of some of the Jap that's out there, spending most of its years racing in a TQ. The machine, although I guess it went well in the TQ, but the early bikes with the Jap motors. Tonight, 5 years down the track. After that was won by Jeff Long, then Craig Hodgson. Wasn't held in 88, and then, as I mentioned, Mark Fiora took it last year. And this year, wide open, up for grabs. Shane Parker's very keen to get underway with it. Parker, first out of the gate, onto the track, into 3. It'll be Scott Norman, red from 1, Parker white from 3, David Walsh, yellow from 4, and Sean Moran, green from barrier 5. Remembering, of course, that only riders that are members of the SRA are eligible to take part in this one. Certainly nothing against Sean Moran or David Walsh, but it would be great to see it go to one of our local guys. Riders, all forward. Scott Norman goes out after him. It's Sean Moran out in front. Scott Norman in second place. Walsh going strongly up there also with the bunch, but it's Moran from Norman. Followed by Richardson, then Parker. Moran doing all the right things out in front. Scott Norman. Can he improve that position by just 1? Walsh down low, Norman on the outside, that's back into the leaders. Norman being challenged by David Walsh. Scotty Norman, second last year. Can he crack it this year? Doing it right. 1 left to go. Norman from Walsh, back into Richardson, then Parker. There goes Walsh down the inside. Norman has caught on the outside. He's going to have to try and cut down low, but David Walsh out in front is going to clean sweep from Norman. Richardson and Parker. Walsh from Norman. David Walsh, you can take nothing away from that guy's brilliance. And, gee, what a shame for Scott Norman. He really raced well in that one, had it going, and second time in a row runner-up in the Kevin O'Connell. But a great ride by David Walsh, proving too strong for the field, and clean sweeps. It takes the North Arm title and also takes out the Kevin O'Connell Memorial. And the time for that race, 104.58, 104.58. For the track, for the presentation of sashes.
Laurie, what were the positions in the title? Walsh first.
Okay, we're ready now to present the guys with their well-deserved rewards, and to assist with things we have one of our promoters, John Fleming, and also the president of the SRA, Mr. Ivan Golding. Nearly called him Barry, but of course Barry's the one that races. And starting from the bottom in the North Arm title tonight, finishing in 4th place was Damon Richardson. Great effort by Damon, had to work hard to get there, and finishing 4th, still picks up a sash. Congratulations, Damon. Were you happy with yourself tonight?
Thanks. Yeah, not too bad, I suppose. Yeah, not too bad. The track was good. It probably suited me more than it suited most of the other riders. They like a lot of dirt, I know, but I still reckon it's a pretty good track. I'd like to thank my sponsors, Ivan Golding, President, thank you very much for my bike, and Fraser Imports, Amatec for my oil, Central Motorcycles for all my tyres, my mum for the fuel, my girlfriend for always coming down, my dad for always mechanicking for me, NRC Motorcycles for doing my motor, and that's about it. Thanks to St John's and everybody for coming down. Thank you.
Okay, our thanks to Damon Richardson. Okay, in 3rd place tonight, and as always, rode his heart out, was Scott Norman. Great effort by Scott. I think I would have tipped him to be a lot higher, and just having a look at his riding tonight, he was racing brilliantly, but for some reason at the end it just didn't quite crack it, but he'd be quite pleased with his 3rd place. Well, not probably as happy as 2nd, but a good night's racing, Scott.
Yeah, I'd just like to thank everyone for coming down, North Arm for putting on a good show again, and my sponsors, Fraser Imports and C&D. Thanks a lot.
Okay, our thanks to Scott, who of course we lose soon, going over to England again. In 2nd place tonight was another guy that we're going to lose, the man in green himself, Shane Parker. Congratulations, Shane. That Walsh is pretty hard to catch.
Yeah, congratulations, David. I think next year you can stay back in the UK. No, I'm only kidding. I'd just like to thank all the other riders. I'd like to thank my girlfriend, Carly, for helping me through the week. I'd like to thank my sponsors, Frasers, Rockwell, IPEC, Wilder Miller, Port Road Crash, Hampstead Auto Electrical, Shell. That'll do. And congratulations to David again on winning the Kevin O'Connell, and that's it.
Okay, thanks to Shane Parker. It's fairly interesting to note there that a couple of years ago Shane Parker used to thank Dad fairly quickly. Now he's thanking his girlfriend first. Okay, first place tonight, and a brilliant ride. He held off some great opposition from the UK, David Walsh. Congratulations, David. There must have been some times out there when you thought that you weren't going to get there, because those guys gave you heaps, and quite often you were coming back from behind and cleaning them up from there. Was it as hard as it looked?
Oh, it's never easy, but yeah, I started off a little bit shaky. I got third place in second, but we altered the bike a little bit, and from there on, it's gone like a dream. So I'm really pleased to have won it. I think it's my best meeting here this year so far, and what a night to do it on. So I'd just like to thank obviously my sponsors, Aidan and Jeanette Higgins from Amsterdam Electrical, and Merv, because he deserves a bit of success as well. He works hard, and that's one of the main reasons why I'm happy about tonight. Thanks.
Okay, thanks to David Walsh, and we also would like to support his appreciation to those sponsors that do make the racing possible. Okay, now we've got the same five guys, because they were the top point scorers that contested the Kevin O'Connell Memorial, and of course that is only the one big place for that, but we do have a bottle of wine for each of the riders, and also a very, very nice medallion. And starting from the bottom tonight, we'll go to Sean Moran. Sean Moran put in some brilliant rides. Couldn't quite crack it in those two, but our congratulations do go to Sean Moran and his efforts running fifth tonight. Now I've got to try and work out who did what from here. Yeah, Sean, come and have a word. Why not? It's been a good night's racing, Sean. You must have enjoyed it, even if you didn't crack the big ones.
Yeah, that's part of racing. Everything happens, but well done to Dave Walsh tonight. I think he rode really good with that 650 engine. But I think I've had a great time since I've been here, and thanks to John and John Fleming and Brian Fraser for having me this year and riding at North Arp for the last few meetings. It's my last meeting here tonight, although I'm still here for a few more weeks. And people in particular I'd like to thank is Brian Fraser Imports, Graham Lemon, Castro, Bob Moran Cars, and Andy Marguson of Amar Products, and anybody else I forgot? No, I guess not, but thanks for having me. I had a great time, and I'll be back next year. But don't forget to go to Wayville. Thank you.
Okay, thanks to Sean Moran, a great competitor and a great guy to have around. Fourth place tonight has gone to Shane Parker. Picks up the medallion from, of course, very well-known person in Speedway who's worked tirelessly over the years, Mavis O'Connell. Third place tonight has gone to Damon Richardson. And Mavis being assisted very ably there tonight by Bill O'Connell, who is equally as well known as Mavis in Speedway circles. Runner-up again. I did call him runner-up, I think, all night almost in the North Arm, but actually he was runner-up in the Kevin O'Connell last year. In some ways it's unfortunate that he couldn't quite crack it tonight, but he'd be pleased with his efforts. Scotty Norman finishing second for 2 years in a row, and maybe next year he's going to crack the big one, we hope. Okay, now we come to the big one, the Kevin O'Connell Memorial Trophy, and this being presented by Kevin's wife Linda, and a beautiful trophy it is, a very prestigious one. As I mentioned, the guys normally fight for this one even harder than they do for the North Arm title, but the win once again goes to David Walsh. I feel quite sure that he would be well aware of the sentiments behind this trophy. David, can we just get one more word? He's loaded down with bottles of wine and trophies and medallions and sashes. But we will just get one more quick word from David. Okay, David, just before we let you go and put everything down, you would realise, I think, being an SRA member now, that the prestige that's behind that trophy, did you really think you could make it too after winning that first one? How much chance did you give yourself in taking out the second one?
Well, after I went well in the solo title final, yeah, I thought I had a good chance, you know. I wanted to win them both, so obviously it's a big night for me and I'm really pleased. And, you know, this award also means a lot to Merv again. I keep mentioning Merv because he was a good friend of Kevin, so, you know, that makes it even more special. So, yeah, I'm delighted with tonight, and, you know, I'm just pleased it's been a good meeting for everyone as well. You know, that's what it's all about as well. So, yeah, it's been a good night all round.
Okay, thanks very much to David Walsh, and a tremendous effort, deserves everything that he's picked up tonight. But our other competitors also, not only the place getters that we see out there on the track who race so well, but also the rest of the guys that you, the crowd, have enjoyed tonight's racing. We realise it's been pretty cold and it takes a real Speedway fan to put up with that. Hopefully next Friday night we have another big meeting on, and things will be a little bit warmer. And don't forget, if you'd like to stick around, the drink booth is open for a little while after the meeting closes.